Well, it's 7:47. Do you want to get started?
Oh, we have
Okay.
11 participants now. Very good. So make sure, okay, yep, make sure y'all have hit this because we haven't had very many.
So the button she's talking about is click here for prizes. And so when you do click here, you can see the prize form and make sure you get your campus.
Yes.
Okay. So today we are starting our final Adobe webinar. And this one is Level Up with Adobe, Level 4, Innovate, Collaborate, and Share. And we're going to really focus in on innovating and sharing using Adobe Spark, page and video. So all the Adobe features within Adobe Spark. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to talk about SAMR. So actually, before we get started, will you put in the chat where you're from? I do really like to see that. That's how I always
love that
to start.
Yeah,
maybe what grade level you teach.
Where? Yes. Hold on. Yes, put in the chat.
And make sure you change the to everyone can view, because otherwise you'll send it just to us.
Yes.
So we have Power Math at Strock. Some of these names I do recognize. So I do see some specialists in here.
See, there they go. There go my go.
Okay, so a lot of math. Making connections. I think, is that 3 math that I see? Klein-Kane math. Okay, ELA. Literacy specialist. Okay, so we have Mr. Madecki is here. And Klein High School. Okay, so we only have, I think I only saw one elementary. I'm reading right, that at Corval. And then everyone else is, unless I missed someone. Okay, science. Very cool. So Karen, we have a lot of ELA and math today. And then we do have a specialist. We have physics for science. So very cool. So we're going to start about SAMR. We're going to start talking about SAMR. Start this webinar with SAMR. If I can speak. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this first folder. And I'm going to, let me make sure I'm sharing the sound, because I'm going to play this video. Okay, share sound. And this is a really short video that just introduces the SAMR model.
Technology has the power to transform student learning. But what happens when it doesn't?
Okay.
What happens when that class set of iPads is nothing more than a class set of really expensive digital worksheets? The SAMR model tackles these issues with a focus on the intersection of technology and pedagogy. This model has 4 different layers, the first 2 focusing on enhancing the learning task, while the next 2 layers focus on actual transformation. With substitution, the technology acts as a direct substitute with no significant change. So a student typing an essay on a computer is merely swapping out paper for a laptop. With augmentation, the technology acts as a substitution with some functional improvement. So that same essay is now done on a Google document with the ability to have classmates leave comments on one another's work. With modification, technology allows for significant task redesign. So that same essay is now a blog post. Students are doing research online, editing on a shared document, and publishing to an authentic audience. It is no longer an essay. It is an article crafted for the world. With redefinition, the technology allows for new tasks that were previously inconceivable. So that same essay is now a multimedia package. Students are not only researching online, but connecting with experts through video conferencing. They are co-writing their posts with a digital blogging cohort from around the world. And they are producing not only a blog post, but also a corresponding podcast and an edited video.
Notice that the higher up you move through the SAMR model, the more transformative the technology task becomes, both in terms of multimedia content creation and in terms of communication
with the rest of the world.
So that is just a little introduction on what SAMR is. Go ahead and put in the chat if you have ever heard of SAMR before, the SAMR model. Okay, so a couple people said no. Okay, so most people are saying no. What I really like about the SAMR model is that it really isn't a ladder. So if I have an activity for my classroom that I'm working on and I want to use technology to enhance the activity, it's not so much that you necessarily would just jump automatically to redefinition. It doesn't work that way, that the best activity is redefinition. At least what I think, and maybe Karen can kind of give her opinion on it. I think it's more of a spectrum that in some cases, substitution could be the best way to use the SAMR model, that it really isn't about, okay, substitution is kind of the first step that makes it a little bit better, that augmentation makes it a little bit even better than that. It's not like that. It's that sometimes substitution, augmentation, modification, or redefinition, those activities that you create might be used in one place, but not necessarily the best in another. What do you think, Karen?
I agree. It's, we don't want people to leave here tonight after we look more into what each of these are, to think that your goal is to always be at the very top in the redefinition category. It's actually, I look at it as you're going to be moving up and down. It could be like a ladder, but you're not always at the top. Sometimes you're right, Emily. Sometimes substitution is the better way to go with that activity. So, but what we don't want to see is everything is always substitution. You should be moving up and down fluidly. Sometimes you're doing, more creative activities. Some days are a day where you're going to be taking a test, or you want to do ST math, or you're going to do first in math, or IXL. There's purposes for each of these levels.
It really is a spectrum, like you said, that it is fluid, that it kind of depends on what you're doing, and every activity has a purpose. I think it really is just a good way for you to take an activity and think, how can I better integrate technology into my classroom? And so with today's webinar, we're going to be talking about these different levels of SAMR and how that connects to using Adobe Spark, because this is one digital resource, a tool that we have that can really be used in many different ways. And so we're going to be connecting that to SAMR, but really SAMR does apply to just technology integration in general, not just Adobe Spark. It's any digital tool or resource that you're using. And so what we're going to do is, that video gave you a tiny sneak peek about kind of just an introduction of what SAMR is. And if you go to the next media album, and just like a shout out to media albums, we love media albums. You can use these in a lot of different ways. So in this example, I have a lot of resources for you guys as if you were my students. So this is something you could do in your classroom as well, that you could put in information for your students. Your students could upload their own information or photos. Videos work, but the problem with videos is they show up as gray until you click them. So it's not ideal for videos, I feel, but it is an option that you can put videos in. But what you're going to do is, Karen, how much time do we want to give them?
Let's just give them a couple of minutes to go through and read a little bit about what SAMR is. And I love that we have so many different ways to get an idea in your head, visuals that guide you as to what this is talking about.
So go ahead and open these media albums, or this media album, and kind of scroll through the pictures and try to get an idea in your mind of what you think, just to make sure that you understand what are the 4 different parts of SAMR, the 4 different activities, maybe I could say. because I don't want to say levels, because I don't want you to think you're like leveling it up, that one is better than the other, but different activities.
I got to get my Dr. Pepper sitting over there.
I need to turn on my extension with the timer.
And hopefully everyone is in the course, the Schoology course. I'm putting the code back in the chat one more time in case you joined later and you didn't get the email earlier today. So maybe in the chat, and I think they're kind of numbered 1 through 9, but which one seemed to be, which graphic spoke to you and gave you a better, clear definition of SAMR? I mean, I love the first one that has the little, with the water, you know, I like how it's kind of, thinking about taking that activity deeper and deeper, and with the little submarine at the very, you know, bottom there. But trying to find my chats now. Oh, so number 4, someone said number 4. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. I think I also liked the Starbucks one. You know, my brother-in-law wants his coffee black, but then some people like to spice it up, and you know, I had a lot more things in there. Number 3, someone said number 3. Oh, number 5. So I like how each, we're getting different responses from most, you know, each person. And when we think about even, you know, giving kids more ownership, how each kid could create something different with that creativity with Adobe and all of that. So, you know, what speaks to me may not speak to somebody else. So I like that everybody is. There's my dog barking outside. Hope you can't hear her too loud. She is outside.
Now that we've looked at these, we're going to do a quick discussion board. And what you're going to do is, we've watched the video on SAMR, we've viewed the images. You're going to reflect on how you've seen technology used as a teacher. So this is at any point in your career. This could have been when you were student teaching. This could have been in your own classroom. This could have been in someone else's classroom during an observation. You're going to write one example of how technology was used in an innovative way. So just in a new way. So this could be any of the activities within SAMR, any part of the SAMR model, and you're going to go ahead and write your answer within the discussion board. So while you guys are writing your answer, I'll share one way that I thought technology was used in an innovative way. And so I was a Spanish teacher. And so traditionally we would do interpersonal activities, which is speaking between two different people in the target language, so within Spanish. And traditionally, you know, the teacher has a rubric, they sit and they listen and they grade as they're just listening. And so what we would do is the first way that we did it was kind of a substitution activity that rather than me just sitting there and listening, we had the students using Schoology, and they would record their videos, but then to even modify it and bring it kind of to the next level, we would then have students be able to go back and rewatch those videos. And when they would rewatch the video, they would, I tried to always focus on the really good stuff and not the negative mistakes they were making. And so I would have them kind of reflect on what were the best things they talked about. And now that I think about it, like if I were to be back in the classroom, I think I would definitely have them make an Adobe Spark video about their conversation, and then they would record it. And then afterwards, I could go back and add the graphics. So kind of do the opposite of what people normally do with the Adobe Spark videos. They put the content in and then add the audio. But I feel like it would be really cool for them to speak and then go back and add the images afterwards to kind of think about what did they talk about, and then maybe publish that video. So that would be, I think that's an innovative way that maybe it could be used. Okay, here's some answers.
I say hit refresh because I saw some really cute ones or good ones on there.
I'm gonna zoom in. Okay. Oh, Inamoto account at the last school. Okay, they would create lessons on a science topic and teach it to each other. I love that so much. I love it when kids learn from each other. That is such a cool answer. Using Google Docs first time in the classroom. Awesome. Yeah, I love all the Google Suite things. And what's so cool is when you put multiple kids in the same document and they work collaboratively. Love it. The students creating their own TED Talks. That is a great answer. That's cool. Okay, very cool. So instead of just taking a quiz online, they're creating a presentation. I love that.
And as Kayla is saying, you know, there are times when it's taken a quiz online and maybe just, you know, what we're saying too tonight is that you don't always have to be in that redefinition area, that you're going to be going up and down and doing a lot of different not levels, but you know, different areas.
I didn't scroll down. Okay, a lot of Nearpods. Oh yeah, and there are some new Nearpod features that are so cool. We're actually going to see one tonight that is kind of newish, and so hopefully, Kevin, you like that new feature. I don't know if you've been using Nearpods in your classroom, but it's a really cool feature that we just had a meeting about them with them last month, I think. And so,
and we have one this Friday with them too.
Okay, and then
and while we're talking about
Chatterpix,
while we mentioned Nearpod, because if y'all have not seen our post in Workplace or in the new KNet, y'all, we are having a contest and we're giving away some prizes, some Nearpod packages for the highest, the three teachers that are, we're going to look at the Nearpod district report that Nearpod sends us, and we're going to get the top 3 teachers in elementary, in intermediate, and in secondary are going to get some Nearpod gift bag things. So
yeah, so they sent us some swag, and so we're gonna pull that report. Here's the challenge right here. It says my cute snowman, but there's more information workplace, but also on KNet. And I would show you our KNet post, but it's not working for me right now for some reason.
it's probably that Amazon thing that went down today that's messed up everybody.
But it's about how many you run, and so it's just the teacher running them, and it can be student paced or it can be teacher led. Okay, let me refresh one more time, just make sure I didn't miss anyone, because I always feel bad. I don't think I see any more. And I did see someone put in the chat polls to get feedback. I like that too, because sometimes it can be a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You know, I always tell my kids, okay, everyone close your eyes, no peeking. You know, so they can show where they're at. But by using a poll, you don't have that issue because you'd always get some peekers. All right. So the next thing we're going to take a look at, now that we've talked about SAMR a little bit, we're going to look at how SAMR can be used in Adobe Spark. Karen, do you want me to just keep sharing, or do you want to take over?
It's up to you. If you want to, you can keep going.
Okay, I'll keep sharing, and then let me, I guess. Oh, it's, you know why? It's because I'm so zoomed in.
She's like,
I always zoom in a lot.
You like that zoom, huh?
I can do it real quick.
Okay.
So go ahead, Karen. You can tell us about this.
Okay. So in here, since we're trying to focus a lot on Adobe Spark, and we've been doing a lot with Adobe Spark, Adobe is a very, it's a great tool to use when you're trying to up your game, or to think about how can I innovate and be a little more creative in the classroom. And so what we did was we took some lessons, a typical lesson, and you'll see over on, on my left-hand side there that Emily is circling there, you know, just think about having the kids write a story. Okay, so how can we do this at each of those types of SAMR model here? Okay, so what we have is the very first one would just be, you know, given a piece of paper and write it on the pencil. That would be our original assignment. But if you're looking for ways to bump it up for the substitution, it would just simply be having them open Microsoft Word, or it could be a Google Doc, and they are doing the writing on the computer. We really haven't changed the activity that much. We just went from paper pencil to the computer. So we substituted there. So that's that level there of SAMR. All right. The next one, the augmentation part here, is, so I'm going to think, how can I bump it up just a little bit more? Well, maybe now in Google Docs, they are using that text-to-speech function. They could also be inserting graphics that they're finding, you know, on the internet, that sort of thing. Okay. Then if you want to bump it up just a little bit more, we're still doing that same original activity, but now we're going to modify it a little bit. Now, maybe we're going to have them create a Spark page where their peers, their family, they're publishing that article. On that page, they could also embed video with it a little bit more, which is actually the very last one there, which is redefinition. We took that whole same written assignment, but now maybe this time, instead of them writing, they're recreating it as an Adobe Spark video that they're going to publish to a blog or to YouTube or to some type of social media. So you see how we just took that same original idea, but we've bumped it into different levels of SAMR depending on what you do with that activity.
And I really think of the R, so it's redefinition. And so you are really transforming that student's experience, that it is a whole new activity that same would cover the same material, but is being done in a completely innovative new way.
And I like to look at it too. You could not do that activity without the technology,
Mhm.
you know? So anyway, okay. Our
So
next,
that was our ELA example.
okay,
And
yeah.
now we are going to take a look at social studies.
So for social studies, so originally in your classroom, you're studying about locations, travel, maybe in the old days, you might give them, you know, magazines and have them look in encyclopedias and go to the library and look at books and read, you know, articles and look at the different areas that you're studying geographically, okay? So then to bump it up for that substitution level, we would take that same activity, but now we're using Google Maps, and they are, maybe you gave them a blank map in Schoology or however you gave it to them, and now you're just having them locate those places that they're studying on the map. Okay, then for the next level of augmentation there, we're now going to take that same Google map or that map that you embedded into your activity there. Now they're going to insert images. They're going to find clip art. They're going to jazz it up just a little bit more. In your next one for modification there, you're actually going to, maybe they are going to go start exploring and reading articles and doing research on the internet. And when they find it, they're going to embed those links and create like a thing link or some type of activity where people can actually click on it and it would take them to another location. And then the last way would be maybe you're going to have them go and find those virtual reality exhibitions that they could create, and then turn that into a podcast or a video that they have created about that location that they have been studying.
Mhm. And so I even think of here, just in that augmentation, if I mean, using Adobe Spark, and then they are just using, so using the Spark, the graphic creator, and just adding those images in.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one is an art lesson.
Okay, I was just looking at that last one. Anyway, I think we had the wrong picture there, I think. Didn't we change them? But never mind. I'm going on.
With social studies?
Yeah, never mind. It's okay. I thought we had put more of the, oh, I think I saw a
I think we
buzz in
did, and I
here.
think we might have put the wrong image in there.
But you added the Adobe part in because we did it.
I was
But
thinking that
I
where's the
digress.
Adobe part?
I digress. Yeah. Okay. So think about fine arts and so maybe you have had them, you know, you've been studying and now you show them a picture of the Mona Lisa and you're having them recreate that on paper and pencil. Well, for substitution, beginning level or however you want to say it there, but would be just have them open a draw program such as Google Drawing, and they're going to do their drawing inside of there, or Canva, or even, well, okay. So then I guess they could even draw in Adobe Spark there too.
And you know, connecting this, because we do have ELA in here, do you know that chart? You all know what I'm talking about, the plot chart that goes up and then for the climax at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm even thinking
the story mapping and all
of,
yeah.
of story mapping, that this is kind of the same thing of draw a story map. Well, then they can just do it on paper or they can do it using Google Drawing. And so you can really connect any sort of drawing activity, no matter the content area, to this example.
Yeah. So if you want to bump it up just a little bit more with the augmentation there would be, because the great thing about all of our Google products is that the kids can work collaboratively. So maybe, because if somebody asked me to draw the Mona Lisa, it wouldn't even look like the Mona Lisa. But if I'm working with a partner, and the great thing about this one is it could be a partner that is at another school even. But anyway, So that collaboration piece. So now we're working together in Google Slides or Google Drawing to create that Mona Lisa. And then
if you were to, sorry, I was gonna say, if you were to use an Adobe product here, it would be nice if they were in 2 different classes, or if you were doing it in stations, because with the Adobe, you can't share at the same time. And so if you were gonna do the drawing, some sort of creating that graphic within Adobe Spark, they couldn't do it at the same time. So it is important to know that if you're thinking about Adobe, it has to be separate.
Yeah. Okay, then for that next level of modification there, each student would get a square of the Mona Lisa, and now they're going to collaboratively see if they can put it back together to develop that, and maybe each person is drawing that little square of it in their product, and then now they're putting it all together. And then the very last one for redefinition is now we're going to, because what great things now, you can actually go see the Mona Lisa, even though you don't go to Paris and go to the Louvre, and you can go on these virtual tours. So now you go to see the Mona Lisa, and now you're going to use Adobe Spark to create a modern day version. Maybe you're going to make a modern Mona Lisa with Adobe Spark, because you could put in graphics and icons. It doesn't have to be paint strokes if you're doing a modern recreation of a drawing. Okay, so just some ways you can bump it up. Each one is a great way to get technology and get innovative and creative with your students. Okay, so then thinking about assignments and assessments that we give kids. So we talked about this, in the old that you just give them paper quiz and they're taking it on their desk. Although today, I was at several campuses, and of course, poor people trying to do these QSCs and all these things, testing when technology is not working. But anyway, so maybe you have to do paper and pencil. Some days that's the way it has to be. But think about substitution would be doing it in Schoology, giving them an assessment, okay? Then for the next, the yellow one there, the augmentation there, students are now going to maybe complete a Google form that you created that branches based on their answer responses. And if they answer it incorrectly, it would take them to a video tutorial that you either created a screencast, or it could be a YouTube video. And then the next level there for modification there, now they're going to complete this Schoology assessment, but this time you're hooking in, you've added tiques to every one of the questions. Now you're having the kids go over, look at their mastery, where did they land, and then the student is going to select a pathway based on how they scored with their mastery of that assessment. So if they didn't do well on TEAC 5.4a, then maybe you have folders in your Schoology course, and they're going to go into those folders and get additional activities to bump it up a notch there. And then the last one would be, so, a lot of times we think, oh, well, kids just have to take the test at the end of the unit. But maybe instead of even giving them that test, you're now having them create an Adobe Spark page that connects the content to real world problems, or maybe a personal experience, but now they're going to do something different. So like our example here, because I was a first grade teacher for almost 30 years, maybe my first graders, we've been doing 3D and 2D shapes. Instead of me giving them a paper pencil test, I'm going to let them go around the school, record video of these shapes that they have found, and then I'm going to assess them based on how they explained in their video what these shapes and things were.
Love that. Okay, and so the last thing we are going to do today, where did it go? Oh, in here.
Oh, in there, we're in there.
Oh, do you know
Oh,
you
the Nearpod.
you
Oh, now I need to share, right? Because
yes.
you can't. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now because let me get in here. Oh, let me see. I got the sound. Okay.
And if
So,
you would like, when you join the Nearpod, you can use a nickname if you want to
oh, yeah.
hide your real name.
So yeah, so we created this Nearpod. So go ahead and click on that link. And so I want everyone in here because we are trying to utilize some of the features in this. Okay, so what we've done, and let me see. Okay, there we go. So I've got, so all you have to do is click on the image. Now let me hide the student names. There we go. Okay, so everyone's in there. So you have a picture. We have found some pictures of people using technology. And what we want you to do, and we actually put, in case you need to see the definitions of each level of SAMR, what we want you to do, and you don't have to write the whole word, but what I'd like for you to do on this image is tell us, do you think that this activity is substitution, augmentation, modification, or redefinition? So write it. You can even just put a big, let me just make it big there. You can just, you know, draw it big. I hear my dog barking. I hope y'all don't hear it. Sorry, it was distracting me because I can hear her barking. And then make sure you go ahead and hit submit. Oh, I see somebody put an S. So yeah, looking at this, and you know what, Emily, can you
Yes.
go to the people and we can allow them to, I mean, because we only have like 9 in here.
Yeah.
We could, we're going to actually unmute everyone. So if y'all want to actually talk during this portion, you can. But does anybody want to speak up or tell us why you think that this is substitution? Because I see several people, or one that has put submitted theirs for substitution. Why would you think this would be an example of substitution? Anyone? And I can make it a little bigger there. Anybody have an idea what they think here? So basically, they're just basically working on the computer. This is probably we changed it a little bit from paper pencil, although they do still have paper and pencil with them. But
Kind
yeah,
of makes me think that their textbook has been replaced. So instead of having the textbook there, they're answering still in paper, but they just have the info on the computer, but they're not really using the technology.
Okay. Oh, but let me see what this one said. This one does say augmentation. Why do you think that? Because it could be. It was kind of hard when I was trying to find all these pictures because you really don't know the instructions or why, you know, what they said to them. But I could also see augmentation as well. I could, because they've substituted. These girls are working collaboratively together. So yeah, it could possibly.
And they could have notes on the paper, and you're right, they could be doing something collaboratively on the computer. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to close this. Let's go to the next picture real quick. All right, so look at this one. And so which level do you think this one would be? So go ahead with your pen. And I love Draw. It's in Nearpod. Just a great way to. Okay. Oh yeah, I see several that have put redefinition on this one. Yeah, so think about this one. Here they have this person that they're talking to who is explaining this science experiment to them. The kids are studying, I think it's biology. I'm not sure exactly what else going on in that, but they now have an expert from, she could be over on the other side of the world, showing them and explaining to them different things about this science experiment that they are working on. So yeah, just a whole nother level of taking it up a notch there. Okay, let's go to the next picture. So what do you think about this one? And I think this one could be several of these, because we, like I said, we don't know exactly what's going on in the picture. Yeah, I could see it being redefinition. It could be it could be modification. I love that they're on, and I don't know if y'all have seen, like Fox has several of these new, instead of box lights, they have what's called clear touch, and they lay down like this table does, and so you've got kids there working together. It looks like they're at on a Google map or Google Earth or some place that they are going and investigating and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think this one, depending on what the teacher is doing with them, could be several of these.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to this one. What do you think about this one? Looks like they have made,
I think yeah, they built those.
they built their own, it looks like their own smartwatch. Hello, I've got another dog coming here to see me. Oh yeah, I definitely think this is redefinition.
So instead of a test, maybe they're actually creating
Oh, yeah.
a product that they can share with others. What would be cool is if they took pictures along the way and then made a video explaining the process of what they did and why it works for what they're studying.
And let me tell you, do they need to do a paper pencil test? Because if they can build that and it works, then they truly understand what you're talking about in the classroom. So there are lots of ways to assess. Okay, here's our last one.
And I think this is using any of our digital resources. So you might think ST Math, Lexia, one of those resources that we have, the district provides, the state provides, or your campus provides. There are lots of different ways to get them.
Yep, here's another dog. She's coming to say hi. I'm glad they love me. Okay, go get down.
All right, Karen, let's go quick because it's 8:30.
Oh my, are you kidding? Oh my goodness, y'all, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's go fast. So I think this one is a classic. It could be substitution, augmentation, depending on what they're doing. All right.
Let's just talk about this one.
We'll just talk about it, but it looks like he's using a microscope that is now hooked into his computer. I would say this is probably going to be modification.
It improves it slightly that he's able to view it.
A bigger one. Okay. And then this last one, let's get quick because we got to draw for prices. It looks like they're working collaboratively on word webs and that sort of thing. So instead of giving them a regular fill in the blank, I do think this is more augmentation level here as well. Okay. The very last one, and this one is a drag and drop, but I don't know. We're going to let you all do this later. Well, actually, I don't think you can because it's a live, but it was one where you were going, this is one of those new features, and I see Kayla is working on it. If y'all have not played with drag drop, this is a great way. It's their new feature in Nearpod. So you can have the kids drag your boxes. You can use images. You don't have to use text. Lots of different things you can do with this. Oh, I see Emily right here dragging these around. So you see how we gave you some examples and just letting you decide which level is there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I think this is in my way. I was trying to exit the.
So when you're using these, when you're using
Oh.
this, trying to integrate technology and thinking how you want to use Adobe Spark, you might want to think of the SAMR model and use that to kind of help you think of, well, how exactly am I using technology in my classroom?
Yep. All right. I'm going to just bounce out of here because I am going to, let's go ahead while I've got the screen here. We had one more activity, but we're going to not, y'all can think about this later and reflect right here on what you've learned tonight. How could you use Adobe to help you bump up these levels in your class or these activities in your classroom? Okay, I hope everyone, okay, we're getting ready to do the drawing. If you have not entered the prize, now is your last chance to click that.
30
quickly.
seconds.
30
Real
seconds
quick.
as my dog is starting to bark.
And don't forget to check out our upcoming webinars. We have some really cool ones in January. That if you click that link, you can see we have one all on Kami that you might have received your Kami card, your recipe for success card. The recipe on the back is super, super good. And so you should try it. It's a winter themed recipe. And we're going to be talking all about Kami because the district is now paying for it. So you have all the features. Your students can use everything. It's already pushed to their computer. Karen, I am ready to go when you are.